Good morning. Yes, it's still the morning. And welcome. My name is Dawn and I am the admin of this group. I'm an entrepreneur at heart and a mother of 7 children. So if you have kids and thinking about running a business and you're using them as an excuse, I'm here to tell you that that's not a good excuse in my book. But I also run Sign Parties 101, which is a free group on how to teach people how to have their own sign party business. And I wanted to just come on here and let you guys know as I'm bringing people into the group, which by the way, if you didn't see the post, we just passed 2,000 people in this group, which blows me away because we just celebrated 1,000. So I have to think of another gift I think I'm gonna send out. Maybe one of my kits or something like that. But I'll think about that. But you guys are awesome. Just wanted to say that. But as I'm bringing people into the group and they're answering the questions to get in here, I see so many of you guys are not hosting parties, but you say that you're interested in learning about them or what they are and whatever. So I just wanted to jump on here quick and kind of explain in a nutshell, kind of at like 10,000 feet, what DIY parties are all about. So basically, all it is you picking something that you enjoy making. For me, it's wood and it's signs. That's kind of my jam. And so you find out something that you're good at making and that you get the supplies and teach other people how to make it. So in a nutshell, that's what DIY parties are. With the Glowforge, it's opened up doors. We do more things than just signs. You know, we can do interchangeable pieces. We can do other sorts of projects. And so it's really a great way to make some extra money as a hobby or do what I did and turn it into a full-time business. There are so many different things. It's so versatile and that's why I like it. So a lot of people are like, well, that's great, but you know, how do I get started or what do I need to do? Again, a very kind of fast overview is find something that you enjoy making, and then since you're going to teach other people how to do it, you just need to gather the supplies, find a host. That's my number one kind of insider tip is some people do public parties, meaning they're the host and they go put it out there that they're having this class or workshop or party or whatever you want to call it at let's say at a restaurant or in some sort of local establishment, and you come to them and then you know have your party. So or they come to you and have this workshop. But what I have found in my area is that I like to find the host. Public parties are not as popular as private ones. So I find somebody that wants to invite their friends or coworkers or family or whatever, and then they invite the people. So for my first one way back, I started 3.5 years ago, I think. Yeah, 2017 was my first full year of sign parties. And I went from hosting 1 to then my first month I did 4, and then my second month I did 8, my third month I did 15, and then I ended that calendar year at 200 parties. We were doing up to 9 a week by the end of the year, and it was absolutely insane. But all I did was I started out, I found one person, she actually came to me, an old college friend that said, hey, I'll have your first party, I'll invite some people over. And so I was like, great. And so she had her friends and family come, and I had 15 ladies that first time. I had no clue what I was doing. This was not a thing back when I started. And she had 15 people over. I taught them all how to make a planked sign with a stencil, and they ended with this beautiful project that they loved. And then they told their friends, and then they said, hey, let's have a party. It's so fun. And then it just snowballed from there, and that's how I started my business. But literally with the Glowforge, you can make anything that you enjoy making on the Glowforge, or even not. I have a group that's called Sign Party Central, where it's my membership group, and for the month I give them designs and stencils and SVGs and stuff that they can use, but then I also once a month give them a project that they can incorporate into their parties that is not necessarily a sign. So we have done vintage sleds and bottle openers and centerpiece boxes and wooden tags and stuff like that. So you can find something that you enjoy making. Maybe it's a piece of furniture, you know, a simple end table, or a little, like in shop class back in middle school, we made those little like fold up chairs or something like that that you enjoy making, and then it's literally just teaching other people how to do it. Now, the reason why I like that more than just doing custom after custom is because, let's say in a given 3-hour time period, I can make maybe 2 custom signs depending on the size and complexity of the sign. And let's say I charge $45 a sign, so that's $90 I could make in those 3 hours if I was doing a custom sign. Now, I can use the same 3 hours and teach a class of 20 people and charge $45 a person. And so that is what, 45, so that's $900, right? If I did my math right, that I can make in those 3 hours versus just the custom. So that's why I am a huge fan of parties or workshops or classes or whatever you want to call them, as a way to earn some extra money versus just doing the customs. Now, I still do customs. Seems like I just can't get away from it. People still come to me to make stuff all the time, but my main focus is parties. And then now I get to teach other people how to have their own parties as well. So, hey, you guys, I see some of my Sign Party Central people on here, and people from 101. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Alice. Yes, too many custom signs. I know, I hear you, because literally, and I love them. I love the customs because everyone is different, but I don't like the customs in the fact that my time is valuable right now, and, you know, a custom takes me quite a while to do one, and I can make so much more money if I do a class or a party, and I can do all of those in the same amount of time because I'm not actually physically making everyone. I'm teaching everybody else how to do that. So, hey, Tara and Jennifer. Yeah, so that's basically in a nutshell what a DIY party is. So a lot of people, again, when you come into the group, I've seen your responses. Some of you guys make me laugh out loud. I literally wish I could respond to the requests coming in because some of your answers just make my day. But a lot of people, like the majority, say that they don't do parties yet, but they're interested in learning, or they haven't ever heard about DIY parties and they want to learn more. So that's why I just wanted to jump on here quick and say kind of what I do. So I have had, like I said, my local business for 3.5 years, and then now I run my my groups, and then I have my paid group online as well, and give them all sorts of business tips on how to have their own business as well. And then I'm a mom of 7, so when I'm not doing all of this, I'm trying to keep all my crazy kids who have been home now for months on end. Yeah, so it is it's fun, but I literally, you know that whole saying of like, find a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life or something? I literally cannot wait to go to bed to start my day again. Like, I wish I could just fast forward my sleep because I get up at, I don't know, 4:30 or 4:45 because my husband goes to work, and then I just stay up. I enjoy that time that I have before the kids get up, and I just love it. And I work. I mean, my work is not like work. I get to design, and I get to help people, and I get to build stuff, and like literally it is like the dream job. I love my groups, and I love the people in them, and I love watching. I have messages every day, plus in my groups just people posting about how they didn't know much starting out, and through the tips and stuff from me, but also from other members, they are able to start their own little side gig with sign parties, and it's been taking off, and we've had people quitting their full-time jobs left and right. Even during COVID, my business has not slowed down at all, and some other people haven't, especially if you learn to pivot. Like, you can't do in-person parties, so what are you gonna do? Zoom, kits, online stuff, and just learn to pivot that and kind of take it a different direction. Instead of looking at things as a challenge that it's going to stop you, look at it as a challenge, like how am I going to get through this? And yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. So okay, I'm gonna just quick check. I think there was a couple questions that came up here. Sarah, do you provide all materials when you do a party or give them a supply list? Nope, I provide absolutely everything, except the tables to do the project on. That's the only thing that I ask the hosts to provide are the tables. Otherwise, I bring everything else. I bring the plastic that goes down on the tables. I bring aprons. I bring all of the wood supplies. I bring the paint, all the sponges, the materials, everything like that, that I bring. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't know, what am I going to need? Make the project at home, whatever you're making. For me, it was signs. So make the sign at home and literally write down every single thing that your hand touches, and that's going to go on your supply list. So if you run through it yourself and you need some tape and you need scissors and you need some paint and whatever, write it down and that becomes your supply list, and then that's what you bring to the party. I have 2 sets of everything because I have instructors that go and do the parties for me, and this way we can book more than one party at the same time if I send instructors to 2 different parties. And so I have just totes full of my stuff that's just for the parties, and we just make sure the supplies are replenished and that there's enough. And it's a pretty simple process, like once you have it down. And yeah, that's it. And I assemble. I don't do any work beforehand as far as I don't stain the boards and I don't put their sign together for them or whatever. It's a DIY party. Do it yourself. And so I bring, a lot of my signs are planked, those plank signs. And so I bring individual planks like this to a party, and I teach them how to assemble it. We have nail guns. We use them at parties all the time. We assemble them at parties, we stain it, we paint on their design with a stencil, or we paint the 3D piece and glue it on. They do everything themselves. Parties usually take about 2.5 hours from start to finish, and people absolutely love it. So if you haven't hosted one before or are completely new to this, I would say dig deeper and do some research and figure out if it's something that you want to get started on. And if you do, you have this group, you have me, you can join my other group, which is Sign Parties 101. If you want to do more sign stuff, there's so much information in there. There's over 4,000 people that are, I kind of set the precedence of, in my groups, it's all kindness and all helpful. And if you're not, don't be in the group. And so it is amazing. It is just filled with amazing, amazing people. And then if you want even more help, designs, marketing materials, Q&As, tutorials, Zoom parties with me, all that kind of stuff, that all happens in my paid group, which is called Sign Party Central. You can find more information on that on signpartycentral.com or the Sign Parties 101 website as well. So it's so much fun, and it's literally the best job. Like, I don't feel like I have a job. I like play all day long and design and create, and it's so fun. Okay. What's the max number of people you allow at a party? I don't have a max. I always just say that it's up to the host's space. So if we're doing it in somebody's garage, how big is your garage? How many people? You know, so I say we want about 2 to 3 feet per person on a table. We can stagger them on the tables as well. So usually about 3 people per 6-foot table. So you can kind of gauge on how many can fit in your garage. My biggest party was 69. We did it at a church, like a church function. And there were 69 ladies because that's how many signed up. And so anywhere, I usually do 10 as my minimum, unless it's a kit party. So a kit party is kind of the same thing, except I don't do it in person. I get all the supplies ready. I do assemble their sign beforehand so they don't need any power tools. And then I take note of what colors of stain and paint they want. I package it all up in a little kit, and then they sign up and their guests sign up as a normal party. But instead of me going to them and instructing it, I just give them all the kits. and they just do it themselves. So it's kind of just like a party minus the instructor. But yeah, I don't have a max. Can you talk a little bit about business insurance and what's needed for selling and doing parties? That kind of depends on your state and your area. I would just talk to your local insurance person that does your like auto and home, and tell them that you are doing what you're doing with your business, and they'll hook you up with business insurance. I have liability and all that, so in case somebody spills paint and whatever, you know, it's covered. And then I have an LLC, so if they try to sue me or whatever, it can't go to me personally. It has to stay within the business. And then also I do have a safety waiver that was looked over by an attorney that everybody has to sign or acknowledge or whatever before they do the parties. But I would definitely just check with your business or with your insurance person, and then it will vary depending on which company you go with. So you charge the same amount that you sell them for as a per person fee for the party guests? Yes. Well, I did up until recently, because my time is worth a lot more right now, and I don't have the time to do as many customs. And so if I'm going to do it, I'm going to charge more. I charge less for a kit if somebody wants a kit from me, and let's say they order a custom sign, but I ask them, do you want to paint it and stain it yourself? I'll get it all ready. I'll cut out the 3D letters or make the stencil or whatever you need. But if I give it to you as a kit to finish, it's going to be cheaper. So which one do you want? And then, but yeah, I try to keep it as simple as possible. That's another thing that people, if you're new to me or my groups, I'm about the least complicated person. I try to keep everything, my business. The only thing that's complicated about me is the number of kids I have. We did not keep that simple. But everything else, so my parties, I try to keep everything the same price. I limit my different sizes and everything. I want it seamless from start to finish. I don't want people overwhelmed. I just keep it simple, and it has worked. So yeah, so my $45 that's what it is. I do charge a little bit more for a porch sign if people want that. But as far as different sizes and the planked versus the solid and stuff like that at my parties, everything is the same price. Oh, yes, the best group ever. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, if you're painting and staining during the party, what do you do when it's drying? Do you use something to speed it up? We don't have any dry time, so I use Varathane Fast Dry Stain, which looks like this. And it's an oil-based, but it dries almost immediately if you wipe it off really well. You could also use a water-based stain, or you can use the baby wipe method, which is using a baby wipe to apply your paint, and that's going to give it a stain sort of feel, but that's also going to dry very fast because you don't use a lot of paint. And then when we're painting the actual stencil or the 3D cutout or whatever, I use 2 very thin coats of paint, and they literally dry almost immediately. So we do not have any dry time. We stain on our boards, we take the rig, we wipe it off, we move right on to placing our stencil down. So there is no dry time. Some people like to bring a fan or a little hair dryer or something just to kind of be safe in case they need it. But with my processes, with the stuff that I do, I don't bring it, and I don't have any downtime. So, but it's a great question. You're welcome, Lauren. Okay, so if there's no more questions, that's all it is. If you're just catching the end, you can go back, I'll post this and watch the beginning part. But literally, I just wanted to kind of give you an overview, kind of a 10,000 foot view of what a DIY party is all about. But essentially, it's just finding something that you love making and teaching other people how to do it. And that's it. And it can literally be anything that you enjoy making. And it's a great way for people to get out, have some fun. Even in times like right now where you're not doing a lot of in-person things, you can do things via Zoom. You can ship stuff out. You can have kit parties. There's so many ways that you can pivot and still be super successful at this. And but when you can do it in person, I mean, people love to get out and do fun things with friends. And this thing, the stuff that I do, is they not only have fun with their friends, but they leave with something that they are super proud of, that looks fabulous, and that they love to hang in their house. So it's not like some of those other parties where you go and you make something and they're like, oh, this is great, it looks like a, you know, second grader drew it or painted it or whatever. This actually turns out really nice. So that's it. I think that's all I got. If you guys have questions, feel free to just post in the group. Tag me so I see them. I don't always see everything. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. So thanks for joining me, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.